All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. Give me touching on the top prop bets today on both PrizePicks and Underdog, mostly touching on NBA, but gonna have some other sports in there as well. Let's go ahead and get into it. So right away, I do want to just call out the EV sheet right now for PGA guys. These are all being favored as pushes right now, pretty much where they're set at 4. They're okay. If you want to use them, you can. All in all, I don't think we really need to be attacking those ones that are being favored as pushes. And what I mean by that is like the average sportsbook line has it set at 4, Underdog line is at 4, PrizePicks line is at 4. The chances are it's going to be a push. Now, you could slightly favor the over, slightly, 4.5 for JT Poston. More likely than not, it's like an NHL prop. More likely than not, the over is going to hit, but the most likely outcome is going to be a push. It's like, yeah, if you had to choose if it's going to be over and under, more likely than not, it's going to be that he gets the over. But most of those are being favored as pushes. I just want to call that out for anyone that's using the 9 to 5 cheat sheet. I have gotten that in there. I think it's good stuff. And then just looking at it right now, just looking at the EV bets that we have, Mason Rudolph for under pass attempts 26.5. I think we can all agree the Steelers don't want Mason Rudolph throwing the football that much. Najee Harris has looked good. And then also Jaylen Warren, obviously they're going to try to rush the football there. I don't mind that. We're getting a bunch of good hockey props. Want to call it this one, Christian Wilkins for under 3.5 tackles and assists. That's a good EV bet that we are getting. You guys are going to see we are getting some pretty good EV bets in general on PrizePicks today. Let's go and jump into Underdog. And so looking at the Underdog prop bets that we're going to get a little bit more concentrated here. We got Chris Middleton for over 5.5 assists. They are in a fun game against the Boston Celtics. Basically, I know record-wise they're not the two best teams in the league, but on paper the two best teams in the league, right? So that should be a fun game. We've got a college basketball one here where PrizePicks has already bumped it down to 18 as they should have. Underdog still lagging there. That's going to be a good EV bet if it's still there for you guys. We got Hardman for under his receiving yards. And that's just weird that we were even getting a prop bet for Hardman, I would say, in that game. I don't know. I think that game's ugly. I don't want to be touching any overs in that game. And so I'd be fine betting the under there for him. And then that's kind of the end of the EV bets there on Underdog. I do want to get into college basketball real quick as well, because we are getting a couple of good, I don't want to say good, but just fantasy score prop bets. We're getting one good one. So yesterday, guys, on the bet slip that I gave out to you guys, the fantasy score props went 1 for 2 on the day. The favorable ones that we had that were over 54% likelihood went 2 for 3. So not a bad day. All in all, this is seemingly a decent prop bet. We're going to see that the average sportsbook line would have this at 27.5, which is exactly what the line is on PrizePicks. And so it's about a pretty strong likelihood to hit for the under 55% or so. So not bad. And then from there, not that many good prop bets college basketball wise right now. And then just looking at the fantasy score ones, like all in all, we can see this is a little bit too high. The rest of them probably would be forcing them in there. No need to do that. I do want to call out one on Underdog that we got yesterday. And the reason why I'm calling this out is because it has been crazy how frequently this has happened. The PrizePicks line for Joel yesterday was at like 35.5 for the fantasy score on PrizePicks. On Underdog, you can see it was at 38. So you could see that was a pretty darn good bet on Underdog. It's just crazy the amount of times in which that has occurred. And so again, just want to remind you guys, really before you place a bet, maybe just check to see what the other line is on Underdog or the sportsbook line is, especially for fantasy score props, because that is where we're seeing the biggest discrepancies, especially in college basketball, where it's tougher for both sites to kind of give you guys a line. And then, guys, I do want to call out some kind of discrepancies that we are currently getting right now that are kind of appealing to me. So, like, looking at tennis here, guys, this is a pretty big difference. Like, that's such a small number that it shouldn't be this big of a difference. So, the fact that we're getting a 1 difference here for breakpoints 1, like, by all means, this is a good chance to bet the over on PrizePicks, bet the under on Underdog. Chances are it's going to be at 2. That's what those lines are telling us. So all in all, I think that's a good opportunity there. And then I want to call out some COD props as well, because we are getting a pretty good amount of COD prop line differences as well. Like in some cases, 2.5 kill differences. Again, we have a decent opportunity for some middling chances here. Typically speaking, we're not going to see those big of edges. So like Fame here for COD for map 3 kills, bet the under on PrizePicks, and then for Assault here you could bet the under on map 2 kills, and then again you would want to run that out there on Underdog where you're also betting the over. That's a very good middling opportunity that's available. So with that, guys, let's go ahead and pivot on into the NBA slate that we have today, and I do just want to start with calling out the injuries that we have. So I think a big thing here is going to be Cleveland right now. So you got the Cleveland Brooklyn game. So you got Sharp out for Brooklyn. I think that's going to mean Nick Claxton is going to be someone we're looking at. And then looking at Cleveland, Cleveland, they're going to be without Evan Mobley and Darius Garland still. So we have noticed that the Bucks haven't really caught up to Jared Allen dominating pretty much, and we'll see if that continues today. And so we just take a peek at that game right now. 3-point spread, which we like, obviously, and then 223.5 for the over and under. So yeah, looking at the injuries, this one, I didn't notice it was an earlier game. That's kind of crazy. All right. So basically, the prop bets I like right now, some of them are going to be on Friday with COD. Tennis is going to be starting shortly. I'll show you guys some PGA props that I like as well at the end. Interesting slate today, just with the timing of it. So I won't spend too much time on this, but I do think Jared Allen is going to be in a good spot. We kind of know already that without Mobley on the court, he has just been crushing. More times than not, he's going to get this over. You know, if he gets 15 points, 10 rebounds, and then obviously needs some more assists there. But all in all, I think there's a good opportunity that he gets that over. And for the most part, like Donovan Mitchell for over his points, I don't mind as well. But let's touch on Brooklyn, because I think that is the big point of emphasis that we need to be concentrating on, simply because Sharp is going to be out. Sharp is someone that has been gaining a decent amount of minutes. And we know Nick Claxton has been someone that's kind of been an annoyance for us, simply because when his points, rebounds, and assist prop has been popping up, he seems to fail us, and then vice versa. When it's not popping up, he crushes. But all in all, we look at the per 36 production for him with Sharp off the court. He averages 15.6 points, 12.7 rebounds, and 2.3 assists. Also averages 3 blocks per 36 as well. So all in all, he's someone we should be looking at. His fantasy score per 36, and I think this could be a good one for us. 44 fantasy points per 36 with Sharp off the court. And the reason why I'm concentrating on that, guys, is because we can basically lock in around 32 minutes, I would say. I would say this is a little bit too low. I would argue he could get 35 minutes in this one. Finney Smith is someone that gets some extra run as well. I don't think we're expecting him to get a ton of minutes, but all in all, it wouldn't be surprising to see him have an okay game. But the biggest beneficiary is going to be, I think, Nick Claxton. So I don't mind the idea of just Jared Allen, Nick Claxton over points, rebounds, and assists. Might be a little bit too thin data-wise, but I don't mind when the data says, like, oh, the over is being favorited. And when I agree with that as well, like I don't mind that approach. All in all, I think those are two good lines. Let's go ahead and move on into the next game here. We got the Celtics versus the Bucks. Yeah, one of the more fun games I think we're going to get for the regular season. 4-point spread, 4.5-point spread. The Bucks are favored to win. We'll see. The Bucks have been so hit or miss lately. And you also have Porzingis being a game time decision. He sat out on the front end of a back-to-back yesterday, so I kind of expect him to play today. Cameron Payne is expected to play as well. It's a very high game total. So this is, if you will, I don't think it is, but a little bit of a Drew Holiday revenge game. If you guys buy into those narratives at all, maybe there's something there. We're not getting any Boston props just yet without that Porzingis news, because that's a big usage amount that'd be available if he's out. So Al Horford would get a slight bump. I still think they're going to have to run out Al Horford a decent amount, simply because obviously the Bucks have Brook Lopez and they have Giannis. So I do just want to remind you guys that the good prop bet is Chris Middleton for over assist. That's going to be an underdog. Okay, like if that's still there at 4.5, bet that over. But we're seeing Brook Lopez over points, rebounds, and assists potentially. I feel like this is a good stacking opportunity, really. So Brook Lopez over points, rebounds, and assists. I think that would go hand in hand with Lillard getting over his assists, and then honestly Chris Middleton for over points, rebounds, and assists. I don't mind as well. The one interesting thing is that Giannis really not popping up as a good prop bet. His over and under is set at 52.5, and it does make sense. I mean, you could still bet that over, but it does make sense why, if Brook Lopez is being more favored and if Chris Middleton's being more favored, why Giannis would have a slight reduction in his role. But looking at guys, Chris Middleton, I don't mind if he's going to be getting 34 minutes in this game. Like he went off in the last game. Now this was without Damian Lillard, so it makes sense why he went off. But he has been facilitating a little bit more. Like he's gotten over 4.5 assists in so many straight games. And I don't typically like to chase those kind of situations where a player has consistently gotten the over like that. But this is a little bit different because he has gotten more minutes, and this offense and this team has kind of, they're growing together. And so I do think that makes sense. Brook Lopez over points, rebounds, and assists. What is it at? 18.5. Probably a little bit too thin for me to like go all in on. I will call out, in the last game against Boston did have a good game. All in all, it's okay. And I don't mind Lillard for over 6.5 assists, just because, Drew Holiday defense and whatnot. I think he's going to have to pass the fastball a little bit more pretty much. So let's go ahead and move on into the next game since we are not getting any Boston props. We got Portland versus the Thunder, 13-point spread. That's great, right? 235 is going to be the over and under. Looking at the injury report, the Thunder are going to be good to go. Trailblazers, got to wait on the injury news. DeAndre Ayton potentially going to sit again. Looking at it, there's really not any that I like for Portland. Regardless, I mean, you got Reith for over steals, 0.5. We can see that's a pretty good EV bet. I don't know. I don't love trusting that with someone like him where you can't really count on the minutes. Yeah, for Portland, yeah, I don't want to touch the steal props. So let's just move on into OKC, seeing if we're getting any good props for them. Let's see. Chet Holmgren over turnovers potentially. Giddey for over 6.5 rebounds. I don't mind that. And then maybe Chet Holmgren for over points, rebounds, and assists. He is someone that, you know, has been dominating in kind of easier matchups. I would say that this is going to be an easy matchup, but we worry about the blowout risk there. So again, let's go ahead and move on into the next game here. We got the Knicks versus Dallas. Dallas is going to be without Luka. They are almost 4-point dogs. They're also going to be without Exum as well. About 233.6 is going to be the over and under. Looking at the props, we are going to get some because obviously we already have this news, but who benefits the most with Luka? Well, obviously with Luka off the court, obviously it's going to be Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving has about a 27% usage rate with him off the court, averages 21 points per 36, 7 rebounds, and 8.1 assists. So when we're looking at the props that we are getting for Kyrie, I would argue that these lines that we're getting are probably correct. Are we getting an edge there? I don't really think so. I would almost say maybe especially given the matchup, we'd probably want to bet the under there. It seems to almost be overvalued there. And so is there anyone else that we can bet on for Dallas? Because Exum's out as well. Like, that's pretty big. And so looking at it, we're not getting really any other favorable prop bets. Like Derrick Jones Jr. don't want to bet on. Dwight Powell, yeah, I don't like this either. Like, there's not enough edge, I would say, on a lot of the prop bets that we were getting today. Like, they're all fine, but they all would slightly feel like we're forcing them in there just to force them in there. And with the amount of sports that we have going on, we don't need to do that today. So the Suns and Lakers last game, basically a push in terms of who's going to win. That's actually interesting, guys. So like ESPN Bet, which I don't want to go off on a rant on ESPN Bet, but they have it at -1, and then some of the other ones +1. So interesting there. If you guys are someone that does bet on sportsbooks, very interesting. There's a good arbitrage betting type of advantage you can go there. Pretty much, if you guys don't know what that is, that's you can bet a bet both ways, and you're basically gonna win a profit. Looking at the injury reports, the Lakers, they're always questionable with LeBron and AD. If this loads, come on, whatever. I'll show it here, guys. You know, they're always going to be questionable. It just seems like they don't want to get in trouble with the league, so they're just going to list LeBron, Anthony Davis questionable on every single slate. And I'll show you guys the prop bets for that game. I mean, really, the only decent one that we're getting is going to be Cam Reddish for under 7.5 points. That's going to be on PrizePicks. On Underdog, you could actually bet the over 6.5 points. So decent prop bets, I would say, on Underdog today, just middling opportunities and whatnot. But all in all, I don't really love the prop bets that we're getting there either. So let's go ahead and give you guys a bet of the day today. Well, first, I do want to just touch on some PGA props as well, just real quickly. So I'm going to go back into the EV only sheet. I'm going to sort it by PGA props. So here we go. And so I don't know if I really want to touch any of these, the birdie or better ones. Like, you could if you want to. I wouldn't talk you out of it, but I want to look at Harris English for you guys, because Harris English, I'll show you his strokes prop. You guys are going to see on Underdog, it's at 68.5. On PrizePicks, it's at 69. Now, he's projected to get basically 69 strokes. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I actually think he's going to get the under. The only concern I have is that weather plays a big factor in terms of tee times, in terms of like scoring a lot of the times. And today it does seem to be that case. Right now it's about 11. Let's actually take a look at it. And so just taking a peek at the weather right now, guys, you can see right now it's very low to start the day, and then it just gets up there really quickly. And so that's the concern, is that this is only a, I'll show you guys it. Let's go to Denny McCarthy to show you. It's only a par 70 course. So for him to shoot 100 in par, typically speaking, that would not be a big issue. But because of the weather, there is slight concern. But all in all, it's only 18-mile-per-hour winds. I don't want to say only, and don't want to get off on too much of a technical terminology with golf. But again, guys, make sure to follow my 9 to 5 golf channel. I've been promoting this a little bit. 127 subscribers, so appreciate that. Head on over there, guys. I'll actually put a link in the description below to subscribe to the channel. Help me get to 500 subscribers. I would really appreciate that. But I'm trying to build up this channel because the audience between the two channels just is not as similar as you would think. But again, to the point of the weather, once it gets over 15-mile-per-hour winds is when it really starts to make a big difference in terms of scoring. And then when it gets to 20, that's even more. And so the fact that it's only supposed to get up to 18-mile-per-hour winds, not too crazy. Like, they should still be able to score. So he's typically someone that's not making that many mistakes. He's been playing better recently, so I don't mind that. Now let's go into the bet of the day. All right, so looking at it, guys, these are going to be my favorite prop bets. Again, I hate that some of these are going to be live before some of you guys view it. Hit this notification bell, honestly, guys. It can be a pretty big advantage. Going with Nick Claxton over points, rebounds, and assists, fully hoping that we get his fantasy score at like 30, honestly. That'd be huge. I'm going to do a middling opportunity with these two. So I'm going to bet the exact opposite on Underdog, and that is going to be the bet of the day on Underdog, just so you guys know. So under 2.5 break points for Jack, and then under, son of a beehive. I did it again, guys. Fat fingered. No, this is good. This is good. Okay. So yes, betting the under for this on Underdog, and then for this, I'm going to bet the over on Underdog because it's at 6 on Underdog. This is at 2.5. And then I think this is a decent one. Again, worried about the weather a little bit. And I like Benny Ann just because he has an earlier tee time. So he's not going to be playing in the wind that much in terms of like projection wise. He's the best player in the AM that is at 68.5. The rest of them are at 68 for scoring average. So all in all, that's a good one. And then this is the best bet that we currently have available on the board today. That's going to be all for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Give a like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. If you guys want access to the tools, head on over to 9to5sports.com. I think you guys can hear my baby maybe in the background. I gotta go. Thanks for watching. Let's have a good slate, and as always, let's keep cashing.